What's up guys, it's me Evan here, and today we're going to be going over all of the Hypixel Lobby parkours, all the good ones, the tough ones, the bestest ones on the server, and yeah, let's get into it. So, for the first parkour that we are going to be going over, it's going to be the Hypixel main lobby parkour. The main lobby parkour is a medium-sized, it's a pretty good parkour. It's a kind of challenging one. It's not too bad. It's kind of middle of the road, and it's basically not that great, but also not bad at the same time, if you get what I mean. It's a decent parkour, and I think it shows like the middle ground of Hypixel parkours. Alrighty, now onto the arcade games lobby parkour. This lobby parkour, honestly, it is amazing. It's got everything on this one. It's got long jumps, repetitive jumps. It's got some wacky ones that you're trying to figure out where you're supposed to go on. It's a great one, and it's got cool Easter eggs from different like random arcade games that you see in like an arcade as a kid. And it's a really cool one. I really like it. It's got some challenging parts to it, and it's pretty long. I say it's one of the best ones on the Hypixel server, for sure. Alright, now onto the Blitz Survival Games lobby parkour. And, there's not really much to it. It's stupid! Yeah, it's exactly that. There's really nothing to it. It's just a really quick, repetitive parkour that takes me about 20 seconds to finish, and it's really just, it feels like a really filler parkour. But then again, aren't the lobby parkours filler in the first place? Maybe, yeah, kind of, yeah, Blitz SG is stupid. Alright, moving on to the build battle parkour. The build battle lobby parkour, it's relatively easy and not too long. It's in between short and medium length, but it's got this one part that is so hard for me. It's so weird how I could not get it. It's this part with a bunch of stone pillars, and jeez, it was hard. But I mean, I eventually got through it, and the rest of it is pretty easy beside those stone pillars. Alrighty, we're getting into some good ones now. The Bedwars lobby parkour. It is a very good one. It's very simple. It lays down the framework for a lot of other parkours in the Hypixel server. It's a very simple one, but it's a very good one. It's simple and it's good in its simplicity, just like Minecraft itself. And that's why I think it's a pretty good one, but it's not the best. But it's my most played one. I've done the Bedwars one more than any other parkour ever. And now for the classic games parkour. It somewhat feels like a more challenging Skywars parkour. It's really good, don't get me wrong, but there's some parts that remind me of the Skywars parkour. I don't know which one came first, but they're both very good. And but this one is more long, and it feels a little bit more fun in ways. The classic games one, it has like an ice one where you have to jump on ice with carpets on top, and then there's also one with fire on top of the wood that you have to go through, which puts fire on your screen, making it harder to see, which adds a little bit more of spice to the parkour. Alright, I'm sorry about that last one. It was kind of long towards the end. I left it with kind of just the rest of the parkour, because there's a lot to that classic games parkour. But now we're going on to the Cops and Crims lobby parkour, and let's just say it's very interesting. I'd say it takes the cake for the most interesting lobby parkour on the Hypixel server. It's like a cop's training thing for like when they become a cop. Have you ever seen like the beginning of Paul Blart Mall Cop? It's kind of like that. And you have to jump over cobwebs. You get stuck in cobwebs, which takes down your time by a lot. And you just have to jump over, go under. And there's a lot of fun stuff in this one, and it's a very good one. I highly recommend that you check out this parkour the next time that you're thinking about doing parkour on the Hypixel server. Alright, now we're going on to the Mega Walls parkour. This parkour is definitely one of the best. It's definitely in my top 3 of the best parkours on the Hypixel server. Now, it's got some parts to it that are a little confusing. Like, there's one where you go into a stone wall and then jump onto a slab, which is pretty creative, and I like that idea. And there's also one where you have to go across chandeliers, which takes more time, but I figured out that you can actually kind of cheat that, but not cheat at the same time, where you can just barely jump onto it. And I'll show the clip. You jump onto the chandeliers, just barely touching it, and then you can kind of just jump across in a straight line, and then you go to that, and you save so much time. This is a great parkour, and it's definitely, as I said, one of the best ones on the server, and yeah, you gotta try it out. Alright, now onto the murder mystery parkour. It's a pretty good one. I'd say it's decent. It's not bad. It's not incredible. It's got some pretty good parts to it and some pretty challenging parts to it. I'd say the most challenging part to it, in my opinion, is the part where it has the wood jumps. Some of the wood jumps were pretty challenging, but you know, overall it's a pretty decent one. It's just got some, like, the wood parkour is probably the only annoying one, the only annoying part of it. The rest of it is pretty decent, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, next up is the Skywars parkour. The grand Skywars lobby parkour. It is, it's not grand, as I just said. It's decent. It's pretty alright. It's kind of like a classic games one, but a little less challenging than the classic games. It's got a part in like a cave where that's pretty challenging on, but that's just about it. Like the one in the cave, you bang your head a bit, and that part still challenges me to this day. But besides that, it's not really challenging. It's just kind of a mediocre parkour. It's still fun. All the parkours on this server are fun. I mean, the Blitz SG one is controversial, but they're all fun. It's just this one's kind of the midway point. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's alright. It's pretty decent. Alright, now onto the Smash Heroes parkour. This Smash Heroes parkour, it's a really cool one. I really like it. It's a long one. It's also pretty challenging, and it has a lot of cool stuff to it that's adds to it and makes it a really special parkour, and it stands out from the rest. Mainly because I think it might be one of the longest parkours on the Hypixel server, but also it's got some pretty hard ones that took me a while. I am going to be cutting out a lot of the footage of me just failing the parkour, so you won't be seeing the parts where I actually miss it and everything. But there are a lot of parts on some of these where I do mess up, but the Smash Heroes parkour, I definitely did mess up a lot. Because mainly, there's a part where you teleport, it's like it teleports you, and then you have to restart the entire parkour. It does that twice, It does it on this part where there's a chest on the cruise ship. It's like there's a chest and there's some glass and then it teleports you. And there's also a part in the green tube where you hit the cobweb and then onto the ladder and then it teleports you. And you have to restart the entire thing and it gets really annoying. But besides that, this is a really cool parkour and I really like it. Alright, now on to the TNT Games parkour. This game, it's much different from the other parkours on the Hypixel server because it's got water in it. It has a lot of unique parts to it, like it's got the spruce wood, I think it is, jumps, and it's got a lot of other cool parts to it, which makes it a unique parkour on the Hypixel server. And overall, it's pretty good. It's not bad. It's a little short. That's my only thing that I don't like about it, but you need to have a little bit of short ones, while some medium ones and long ones on the Hypixel server and stuff like that, because if you only have long ones, then the longer ones won't be praised as much and you won't like them as much because they're all that way. And then they wouldn't be long, they'd be regular. But anyway, on to the next parkour. Alrighty, now on to the UHD Champions parkour. Now this lobby parkour is really cool. It's kind of long, but it has some parts to it that are really unique to it. Like there's this part where it's got nether brick and lava. Yeah, there's lots of parts to it that are really cool and unique to this parkour that you don't see in a lot of other ones. Like the lava, you don't see a lot of liquids in general in the parkours on the Hypixel server. It also has a fairly large amount of stone wall, like pillar parkour on it, which I really like because it's a unique type of parkour that's very different from the normal parkour that you do, just like the block by block. Because stone wall along with fences are really cool because they're small and they have like a different height thing. So it's a pretty cool way you can mix things up and it'll look really cool. And it is a really cool way to do parkour, and I really like their use of it in this parkour. So the UHD Champions parkour, it's a really cool one, but it's got some more simple things and unique things to it that make it awesome. On to the next one. Alright, now on to the Warlords parkour. The Warlords Hypixel Lobby parkour is a pretty cool one. It's a relatively short one. It's on the shorter end of the Hypixel parkours. It's got some ladder parkour, and it has some maze parkour, which is unique to this parkour and the murder mystery parkour. And the murder mystery parkour has a bush maze parkour, while this one has a stone wall maze parkour. It's pretty cool. It's kind of hard to do because it's more hard than the bush parkour and murder mystery. Once you get used to it and like you learn it a little bit more and you do it over again, it's not as hard. It's a pretty good parkour overall. And also another reminder that you should always turn off flight before you do a parkour. Always turn it off, because if you don't and you fly, you'll have to restart the entire parkour over again. But anyway, the most challenging part to this parkour is probably the ladders for me. But anyways, it's a pretty good parkour, and on to the next part of the video. Alright guys, welcome to the second part of the video. Alright, so now we're going to be doing the top 10s and top 3s on the Hypixel parkours. So now we're starting with the top 3 most challenging parkours on the Hypixel server. And starting with number 1, we have the Smash Heroes parkour. And number 2, the UHD Champions parkour. And number 3, the Classic Games parkour. Smash Heroes parkour I chose as the most challenging because, as you saw in the clip of it, it was glitching a ton and it's pretty hard in general. But anyway, it's a pretty hard one. Number 2, the UHD Champions parkour. It's just relatively challenging. It's just what you would think when you think of a challenging parkour on the Hypixel server. Alright, now number 3, the Classic Games parkour. This one was just kind of hard because it had some fire parkour, some ice parkour, and some other pretty wacky parkours. So anyway, now on to the top 3 most interesting parkours on the Hypixel server. Alright, so now we are on to the top 3 most interesting parkours on the Hypixel server. For number 1, we have the Cops and Crims parkour. The Cops and Crims parkour, if you remember, it is the one where you had the cops' little training thing where they become a cop. I don't know. I saw it in Paul Blart Mall Cop, and that's the only thing I know about it, but it's a really cool one, and I like it. And now, number 2, the arcade games parkour. This one is also pretty cool. It's probably the longest parkour on the server. Either that or the Smash Heroes parkour is the longest, but this one's pretty cool because it has all the different arcade games on it. And number 3, the classic games parkour, which is again the one with the fire and the ice on it, which is pretty interesting. The fire one, I don't see the fire one anywhere else on the Hypixel server parkours. So yeah, that's the top 3 most interesting. And now onto the top 10 best on the Hypixel server. Alrighty, for the top 10 Hypixel parkours, we have at number 1 arcade games. The arcade games parkour. I love this one. It's great. It's got the arcade. It's kind of long. I like long parkours because you get a longer experience. You get more of an experience, and also it's got some pretty hard parts. It's very creative, although it isn't very original ideas, but it is at the same time. And now to Mega Walls at number 2. The Mega Walls parkour, I just like it. It's just pretty good. It's got some interesting parts, and there's a lot of parts to it where you can make it go faster after you do it more and more. And as I said before, you can do it so many times. Like, you can play it over and over again and still find new ways to do the parkour. It's really cool. And on to number 3, Smash Heroes parkour. I just liked it because it was hard and also because it was good and fun. And now number 4, Cops and Crims parkour. That one's just really interesting. And number 5, Skywars parkour. It's a classic, basically. It's not. I don't think it's the most. I don't think it's like the original Skywars one. But I don't know. I've been playing it for a while. I like it. And number 6, the classic games parkour. This one was also pretty interesting and challenging, but it was also pretty good, so yeah, I like that one. Number 7, the UHD Champions parkour. That one's pretty good. Nothing else to really say. Number 8, the Bedwars parkour. It's not too hard, it's just pretty basic. It's the Bedwars parkour. And now number 9, Murder Mystery. It's the Murder Mystery parkour. It's got the maze, and I think that's all that's really special about it. Number 10, the Prototype Lobby parkour. This one's just not that great. I don't know what to say about it. It's just kind of bad. TNT Games parkour. I mean, it's got water that you don't die in, so that's interesting. Number 12, Build Battle parkour. It's really, really basic, but not in the good way. Number 13, Warlords. It's very forgettable. And number 14, the Duels parkour. I've done it a lot, but there's nothing really special about it. It's just kind of repetitive parkour. And number 15, the Blitz SG. It sucks. It's really short. It's really simple, and it's really bad. Alright, so that ends the top 10 Hypixel parkours. Alrighty, so that ends the video. I've worked pretty hard on this video, and also I do know that Venom did a video on the Hypixel parkours in 2015, so this is kind of an updated video of that, plus it gives my opinion on it, and it's not just showing off all the different types of parkours. It's still different, kind of similar, but still different. And also, I know this doesn't have the past parkours because I don't have any footage of the past parkours, so I can't do that. But that's alright because this is only about the ones in 2020 and 2019. But none of that matters. All that matters is if you enjoyed the video. And if you did enjoy the video, then please curb stomp the like button as you would curb stomp the Ice Age baby. But if you did not enjoy the video, then please dislike so then I can get some feedback about the video. But please don't, please, I worked really hard on this video. And please subscribe if you would like to support the channel, and I hope you all have a great day.